Recording in progress.
Just hang on. You know what? I'm just going to send quickly to the people that are not getting, then for some reason they're not getting the link. I'm just going to send to them quickly, sorry, so they can come on. Let me see if I've sent it to everybody. Okay, let's go. May all beings have happiness and create the causes of happiness. May they all be free from suffering and creating the causes of suffering. May they find that noble happiness which can never be tainted by suffering. May they attain universal, impartial compassion, free of worldly bias towards friends and enemies. Semchen tamche dewatang dewe jutang denpa juchik dungal tang dungal chichu tang trawa juchik dungal mepe dewa tampatang mindra wajuchik nering chaktang nitang trawe tang nom chempo la nepa juchik. So everybody, if you can put on your cameras, I will be very, very happy. Just let me let them in. People are not, I don't know, sometimes people don't get the link. I don't know why. You know, some people get it and some people don't. It's quite strange. Anyway, I'm glad all of you could come, and if you could put your cameras on, because tonight's the last session, as I explained to them, for a couple of weeks, because I'm going to the UK, and also just for the ones that weren't here, we're going to do a full-on teaching 1 week and then a discussion group the next week, so that we can go slower over everything. Hi Denny, I'm glad I just saw your message now, because when I'm playing stuff then I can't send you anything. Okay, so tonight we're going to do the last session of clearing our messy karma, the path to Vajrasattva. So this is part 5, and if you missed some of the other ones, please go back and do them during this time period, and hopefully I'll let you know if Lama Zangpo allows us to do Zoom for his sessions in South Africa. So this is the final sessions, and I really hope that the 5 sessions will give a solid foundation of what we're trying to clear when we use the practice of Vajrasattva. And Vajrasattva is not the only practice for clearing. A lot of the things like Chenrezi and all of these clear your karma all the time. So the more you do and the more mantras you do, and there's a beautiful one that I've got. Fee, I don't know if you've got that one of where you go ah, 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 and then you go hung, 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 and then you do your forgiveness. Do you have that one? I'm going to send it to you, and then we can post it on another time, because I think it's really a lovely one as well. So even if you use just the mantra of Vajrasattva, or the whole tantric practice of becoming Vajrasattva, especially if you have the empowerment, that's the unity. You just see Vajrasattva as the unity of everything in our purest natures. It's really important, because you've got to keep remembering, and I keep saying it to people every single day. I say to people, our primordial mind, our true nature, has never ever been contaminated and never will be contaminated. Even from murder, it doesn't get contaminated. Obviously, there's a part in our alaya consciousness, in our substrate, that's got to pay back whatever you do on a relative level. But that true nature is never contaminated, but it's obscured. It's obscured. And our mind is caught in a state of not seeing. We don't see, so we need to purify this ignorance. Now, you know, I can't explain it to you in any other way except to say to you that I feel so desperate when people, I was seeing somebody today in real dire straits. Okay, I cannot believe what's happened to this woman. It's just unbelievable to listen to a story and everything. But I said to her, do you know? Now, she isn't on a Buddhist path, but I say, do you know that you have this nature that is never tainted by all these things that you are going through? Everything that she's gone through, from paralysis to, I mean, anything that you could actually think of, she's gone through. But I explain, it's such an amazing thing for me to see a beautiful, caring human being who's gone, because immediately I put together that karmic tapestry that tells me that this beauty that is coming out of this person in this life, despite all the trials and tribulations that that person is going through, means that they've come with a motivation to be beautiful and to give and to share. You can read it in the karmic tapestry, because why would a very lovely giving person have to go through so many trials and tribulations? It's so clear to me that it's their own creation from before. So it's very, very important that I've been saying you need to really understand your true nature, and you really need to understand your obscurations, your actually all the things that you're going through. Because in the highest practices, out of Vajrasattva comes the 100 deities. And it's time for all of you to identify with these 100 deities. They're actually 100 multiplied, because each deity has an entourage. Okay, so they are actually all the qualities that we have in that nature. And Vajrasattva, with his 100 syllable, symbolizes that for us. And we have to, when Vajrasattva symbolizes that, we have to actually fully appreciate that by saying that 100 syllable mantra, you are clearing the clean qualities. Because what every part of us, the more I read about death and dying, the more I read about the 100 deity practice, the more I realize that our psychophysical constituents of our body, our psychology, our psyche, our alaya consciousness, we could say that at death, this transforms into its pure state, what it always was. But it's only transforming on that level. On that level, there's no transforming, because you are just waking up to who you are. You're not changing. But these psychophysical states, okay, as we got more and more forgetful, everything became more coarse, more tangible, more everything. That's what happened to us. And we forgot our true identities as we got very coarse. And then we divided everything into me, I, me, mine, and you. Or I, me, mine, and you, up or down, however we saw it. We started having duality instead of oneness. Now, it's very interesting, because in the Jewish religion, when you do the Yom Kippur day, it's a day of fasting where you're supposed to be cleansing and purifying. And in English, it's called the Day of Atonement. And I love the word atonement, because if you read the word atonement differently, it becomes at-one-ment. Have you ever read atonement, at-one-ment? Because as soon as you know that word, atonement, at-one-ment, it means that everything comes together and you don't separate yourself into this coarse duality of me here and you there. So Vajrasattva practice is a way back for us. When we feel despondent, when we feel full of woes, we can use the practice to purify our imprints and habit momentums, which actually are the truth anyway, because those habit momentums and those coarse things are not who we really are. They never were who we really are. We just need to let them wake up. We need to let them wake up into their own state, which is a pure state. Okay, and it's not about defeating or getting rid of, as we say in our relative lives. You know, if you listen to somebody who goes for all these courses, these trainings, these coaching and everything, you know, what those called motivational speakers and everything, if you listen to them, it's always, this is where you're going, put out, and then you're going in that direction. But actually, we never did need to go in that direction. We needed to stay where we were and wake up to who we are. Now I'm going to read you a beautiful story of the hawk and the sky, and it goes like this. The hawk in the sky, a vision of infinity. Once upon a time, in a remote forest, there lived a young falcon named Fudo. Although Fudo was a strong and talented hunter, for his age, he often felt restless and dissatisfied. Every day when he flew high into the sky, he gazed at the endless expanse of the heavens and wondered what lay beyond the heavens. In his worry, Fudo sought advice from the oldest and wisest creature in the forest, a turtle named Shohei. Shohei had seen many generations of animals come and go, and was known for his deep wisdom and patience. Shohei, said Fudo, every time I fly into the sky, I can't help but wonder what lies beyond its boundaries. It feels so limitless and boundless, and yet I feel limited by my abilities and my fear. How can I overcome these limits? Shohei looked at Fudo calmly and replied, Young falcon, the sky may seem unlimited, but it actually has no limits. It's not the sky that is limited. It's your conception of it. You see the sky as something, you see the sky as something to be conquered and explored. But in truth, it's just a space that leaves room. What do you mean, leaves room? Asked Fudo, confused. Shohei smiled and explained further. The sky sets no limits. It puts no obstacles in your way. It gives you the space to move freely, to fly and to be. It is a mirror of your own unlimited nature. If you really want to understand the sky, you must let go of your idea of it as something to be conquered and embrace it as an expression of your own limitlessness. Fudo needed some time to digest Shoei's words, but the next time he flew into the sky, he saw it with new eyes. He no longer saw an unreachable expanse that had to be conquered, but a space that allowed him to move freely and without limits. He felt a deep freedom and peace that he'd never experienced before. From that day on, Fudo no longer flew to conquer the sky, but to experience its limitless. He realized that the sky was not something that existed outside of him, but was a mirror of his own unlimited nature. And in this realization, Fudo found the freedom and contentment he had always sought. Now, that story is really, really important, because if you look at all your negative things that you're going through, if you look at all the things that are challenging you, those are the things you have created that now come back in order for you to find your limitlessness, not to conquer those habits, not to get rid of all your negative emotions, but to see them for what they really are. Now, it's really important that you see that this unlimited spaciousness just goes on and on and on, and has space for absolutely everything there is space for in your life. If only you wouldn't see it as a challenge and something to be reached. If only you would sit inside and see the spaciousness of your mind. You know, I've never ever been clairvoyant or had feelings or senses or anything. Tonight, I was drying my hair and something said to me, the dryer's going to go off. So I thought, what a stupid thought. And about 5 minutes later, all the plugs went in the whole house, okay? And I was late for my group. And, you know, and I thought, what am I going to do now? Oh, well, just too bad. I haven't got the dryer, but maybe the Zoom isn't going to work. But I heard it inside because it was preparing me to make another plan. Now, when you start having trust in your own true, spacious, limitless nature, it will prepare you for everything, not only for spiritual things, for real things. And I'm finding now that when people are sitting in front of me, suddenly I have that inspiration, like I can see what is wrong, but I know it's not coming for me because I know I don't have any clairvoyance, I don't have any clairaudience, I don't have anything like that. But suddenly, my extreme trust in my real Buddha nature is starting to pay off in a lot of things. And I want to say that to you because Vajrasattva is a practice in which goes right into the depths of you. I'll tell you in a moment, right into the depths, into all the levels of consciousness. And it cleans everything out. And when you see the pictures, Tatiana sent me beautiful pictures. You actually see, as you're doing the Vajrasattva practice and the next nectar is coming through you, it actually goes right out through you and it feeds all the negative forces that there are in the earth, actually, when you are doing it. And what I find is that I do it every day. I always do it. I would never not do it. And when I do it now, as I started to put all the people that I know that are going through a hard time, and I can feel the nectar going through me into them. And amazing things happen for them. So do not limit yourself. Do not limit yourself and say, well, I can't. You can. You can help a lot of people. By your practice, you can pour the practice into them. Now, James Lowe, then I'll throw it open for you because I want us to do the practice tonight, a short practice. But James Lowe was quoting Guru Rinpoche. And if you think that the planet is in a very bad way now, you have not seen what is coming. Okay, when I was in London many years ago, I found these 2 red books, I think you all know about it, on Guru Rinpoche. And Guru Rinpoche, in these very deep histories, gives prophecies about the future of what happened when an age of degeneration actually comes. Now, an age of degeneration is on us, but it's not nearly where it's going to go. Okay, it's going to get much worse. And James Lowe says that Guru Rinpoche says, in future times, life will be extremely difficult for beings. Nothing like now. Now we think it's very difficult for beings. We ain't seen anything. I read in those books that he says the time is coming when human beings will only have 10 years of life or 20 years of life when they come into embodiment, which means you'll hardly have a chance to do anything. That's the deterioration of the age of degeneration. And he says humans at that time will easily succumb to distraction. There'll be no time to do any practice. The 5 poisons will be rampant. And that's why the practice of Nondra, the preliminary practices, are so important. So James Lowe, in his book, Being Guru Rinpoche, talks about this, that times are coming that are going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. And I hope a lot of you will already be free and be able to come in at random and really help people without having to go through these very, very difficult stages and ages of degeneration. It's really important that you all understand that. So when we look at the Nondra, and I was thinking to myself, like he says, the 4 mind changes, precious human birth, impermanence and death, karma, and what samsara is really about. He says, in the text, there's a strong sense that samsara is a dangerous and difficult place, and we seek to avoid reality because it's so painful. And he says the key aspect of the cause of suffering is non-recognition of the 3 marks of conditioned existence. Now what? You know what? I've got that silly thing on and I'm probably echoing, am I? There we go. Is that better? Or the same? Okay. Now what I want to say is there are 3 marks of conditioned existence. And it's really important that you know these 3 marks of conditioned existence. Number 1, impermanence. Conditioned existence is that which exists causally like that. Impermanence is the first one. Absence of the inherent self-nature is the second one. So this, and this, and this doggy, and this room does not have an inherent self-nature. It is all interdependent causes. There's nothing of a solid self. That's one of the marks of conditioned existence. So impermanence is 1. The absence of an inherent self-nature is 2, and suffering is 3. Those are the 3 marks, and we need to know them very, very well. We need to contemplate them because they really are very important for us. And he says, much suffering arises because things are impermanent. And they're impermanent because they have no inherent self-nature. And the thought of impermanence and death is like flushing the toilet, okay? Because it's not going to last. You don't need to get so involved in it, he says. Don't get so involved in all the negative things. Don't get so involved when you're going through something terrible. Let it happen. Don't hold on to it because it hasn't got a self. It's impermanent. It's like flushing the toilet. Don't get so involved in it, he says. Shifting one's own habits makes more sense than acting to change the external factors. And what are we doing? We're always trying to change the external factors instead of changing the habit of seeing it in that particular way, okay? So we buy into the fantasy, he says, that we are in control of the world, that we can make things happen the way we want to. Terrible things happen in the world. We feel sad, but then as long as our lives are okay, we forget about the sadness. And he said, that's why the 4 mind changes are so important. And that's why it's important to understand the three marks of conditioned existence. Once you understand them, you're not trapped by them. Okay. And he says, when you go into the preliminaries, when you take refuge, and when you take inner refuge, which we'll do tonight, outer refuge, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, inner refuge, the Guru, the Yidam, and the deity, and secret refuge, in my 3 bodies, I am taking refuge and trusting in this nature. I just cannot say this more importantly, because I'm just seeing too many people that are suffering too much, and they don't have trust in that nature. They don't have trust. So when you take refuge, you trust it. When you do the bodhicitta, you are saying, whatever I've got, I want to share with everybody. That's bodhicitta. Whatever I've got, I want to relieve the suffering of all beings. And that's very important. And then we go on. We do the prostrations if we want to, and then we do the Vajrasattva practice. And then after the Vajrasattva practice, we do the mandala offering. Why do we do the mandala offering? Because what are we offering in this conditioned existence so that we can receive? I just said to this woman today, look, you've got such a lot to offer. And I showed her. I went down on my knees. Her mouth was wide open. And I went down on my knees for her in my little room here. And I said to her, do you want to see how I do my prayers? She said, yes. So I went on my knees. I didn't show her prostration. That might have been a little bit too much, but I went on my knees and I held my hands like this on my knees. And I said, as I'm starting my prayers, I give all the things that I've got to offer. I offer not only my teaching, my counseling, my whatever I've got, my food, my roof over my head, my everything I offer. But not only that, I offer every single thing that I've got. So now I'm getting a new home. I've already offered it. That's the key. I told her, you are in bad, dire straits. You need money, you need a job, you need all of these things. But you need to offer the universe something. And then you can get what you need, and you will get what you need. That really made sense to her. So when we do the mandala offering, when we do the merit thing next time, when we get back after the couple of weeks that I'm away, we'll do the merit. We'll do different kind of mandala offerings. Not only the mandala offering that they give you in Buddhism, but your own mandala, what you are compiled of, what you've got to offer. And every single one of you have got so much to offer. I know you've got your talents, you've got your work ability, you've got your poetic ability, you've got your homes, you've got food on your table. Offer it all. And then it will come back, because the mandala offering is how you make merit. That's why if you look at the Nondra, how it goes, refuge, 4 mind changes, refuge, bodhicitta, the mind for enlightenment, and then after bodhicitta, you are going into the mandala offering, Vajrasattva, then the mandala offering for the purification and the accumulation, and then finally the Guru Yoga. And the Guru Yoga says, I have an ordinary body. I have an ordinary speech. I have an ordinary mind. And now I want to have your Vajra mind, your Vajra body, your Vajra speech. And that's what the Guru Yoga is about. So you can actually see that all these practices come together to make a life. Now, if we go back to the 3 marks of conditioned existence that I've just taught you, or the story of the hawk in the sky, you can see that what you are doing is this life is limited. These are the marks of conditioned existence. And we have a sky-like nature. And that sky-like nature can take us, can be like the hawk going into flying and doing whatever we need to do. But we've got to understand that if you are able to see the 3 marks of conditioned existence, then you can work with them without getting trapped by them. And when you do the Vajrasattva and other practices, which I'll give you over the time, you can clear those imprints, because those habits and imprints never were what you think they are. As soon as you die, they dissolve, and then you're something else. So that's a lot before we go on to the Vajrasattva practice. And maybe a lot of you want to make comments or you want to ask questions. You really are welcome to do that, please. I've said a lot. Lately, I have said a lot, and I think my mouth is dry by now. Anybody want to ask or say or comment or anything? Kati, come on, I'm waiting for you.
Mel?
Please, please, please. Ron, go for it.
A medicine woman, Twala Two Wolves, she had a necklace, and on the necklace there were 2 wolves. So somebody said to her, well, what is the story behind the 2 wolves? So she says, the one is very fierce, it's dangerous, and it's terrible. And the other one, she says, the other one is a very gentle dog, but he's very kind, and he really looks after me. So then they said, well, which one is the strongest? So she said, the one that I feed the most. So what you've got, this is the choice that at the moment, this is what it seems anyway, at the moment, the bulk of the world is in such a state that nobody sees it, or they do see it, and everybody's got bad views about what's going on. But then there are some who want to look at the positive side, and the question arises, not how many people died today or how many did this or did that, but the question that arises is, how do we overcome this? In other words, you start by doing something yourself. So the question then arises, what can I do? I mean, it's only one thing. And somebody once said, it was the Dalai Lama, words to the following effect, and I haven't got it quite right, but this is the gist of it. You think something small can do nothing. He said, you try and share your bed with a mosquito. So, yeah, if you no, there you have it. So now, if you think you're a mosquito, that's fine. But think positively. You wake up every morning and it's a new day. You wake up in the morning, you give thanks for another day to practice the Dharma. You don't get up and think, oh, gee, who's going to die today? Not that there's anything wrong with death. It can be a very good move, but the whole attitude has to change. So how can I change it as one person? You can do whatever you think you can do. When you go to the shops, you buy something, you buy fruit and that, and you take what you need, and then you offer the rest of the fruit to all the people who are suffering, where there is a lack of food. So you become positive. You walk down the aisles and you bless yourself through your walking meditations with Lama Yeshe. And then as you're going, then as you're walking your 10 or 15 paces, you see the Chenrezig on the top of your head coming down through your body, so that by the time you get to the end of 10 paces, you are then Chenrezig, and you stop. And then you just look, and then you turn around. And what is that for? You let go of everything that has happened in the past by that future. And then when you walk down the aisles in the shops, you leave the blessing of Chenrezig on those steps in the aisles, and you say, may everyone who walks in here be blessed by Chenrezig going down this aisle, and may they then take this out and go to the whole world and walk around and bless it and just allow these blessings to go. But you don't walk around and say, well, I'm going to die today. What the hell can I do? No, you decide. There's a decision. I'm going to help people as best as I can. And that is all I can give. There's nothing more, because there's nothing more.
So much. And you know, if you're driving past in South Africa, you know, there's a beggar at every single street. And if you walk, if you drive past, and I mean, it's nice if you can give money, but if you even just give money, as you're driving past, you are uplifting those people. And I think what I'm saying is really, there is a lot. You don't realize you could do a lot. Or let's say, we as human beings are fairly limited, but in our true nature, we're not limited at all. And I want you to remember the sky story, and to remember, you know, what James Lowe is saying, and to remember Guru Rinpoche's predictions, and don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. Use it up. Use up every single precious opportunity that you've really got. But what I want to do now is, are we going to do the practice? But we're going to start off with taking the 4 opponent powers of Vajrasattva. So what I want to do, there are 4 powers to do the practice, and I'd like to do it as a meditation, okay? Because I think it's really nice. And then from there, we will go from the 4 opponent powers. We'll just do a couple more things on Vajrasattva, and then we'll do a short practice. Is that okay? All right, so everybody get into your meditative position. I'm just going to ring the bell. So we're going to start with the 4 opponent powers. The powers of what you've got to use when you become Vajrasattva. Now, you can either become Vajrasattva, especially if you have the empowerment. You can become Vajrasattva. That means you've got the 100 deities in you, or you can use Vajrasattva through you to cleanse in the deepest level. So let's go to the first power. The first power I want you to breathe in and breathe out is the power of the object. That means the practice you are doing is an object. It means taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. And here, your object is Heruka Vajrasattva, okay, who is one with all the Buddhas and all the jewels of refuge and everything, and the Guru. His divine wisdom understands both positive and negative energy. And in this moment, he is your liberator. So I want you to see Vajrasattva either in your heart, or in front of you, or above you. All those 3 are fine. Or you could see the whole of yourself as Vajrasattva. But that's called the power of the object. Okay? So you've got the object, that's your purpose, that's your power, that's your first power. Vajrasattva is this beautiful being. Not only is he sometimes known as one of the 5 Buddhas, but he's also the being from whom all the deities come. So the power of your object is to actually see Vajrasattva in whichever way you do, and put that power in. That's the first power. The second power, the power of release. Release. Sometimes the power of release is called the power of regret. But this term can be misleading, for this power derives from wisdom, not some kind of emotional sorrow or guilt. The power of release is not to feel guilty, like in a lot of religions where they point their finger at you, okay? Guilt can reinforce your negative propensities. The power of release is the wisdom that understands the negative repercussions of unwholesome actions so well that the moment you become aware of a negative action, you want to purify it immediately. Remember, when you want to purify an action, even if the other person whom you harmed or whom you said is not there, you will get a second chance to do that. So I want you for one moment to ponder the power of release based on awareness of what we have done in negative actions. So look down your life and acknowledge some of the things that you have done in your life that you know were not very nice. And you are looking at them, but you are looking at them with wisdom and not guilt. You're not looking at them with guilt. The guilt is useless. The positive responsibility is a power of release. I know that I didn't speak nicely to that person. I know that I hurt my partner. I know that I didn't manage to give to that person what I would have liked to. I know that I misunderstood somebody. Go through your life with this power and release, because that's one of the real important powers of Vajrasattva, to release. No guilt. And then we go to the third power, the power of remedy. With this power, you counteract the force of your amassed negativities with single-pointed concentration on Heruka. Heruka is the wrathful form, Vajrasattva, who is the manifestation of blissful, transcendental, divine wisdom, one with your guru. You do the yoga method and powerfully recite the purifying mantra. And this practice is the actual remedy, the power of the remedy. Now, it's really important for you to believe in the power of the remedy, okay? Because the power of the 100-syllable mantra, and if you don't know it, you could do the 4 syllables, is the remedy. Because what happens is, Lama Lena, when she talks about it, she says that whole mantra goes down to the lower levels of consciousness, below words, and makes changes there. She says, when your glasses are dirty, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. We need to remove the gunge from the glasses. Vajrasattva is the gunge remover. He removes it. So the remedy, the power of the remedy is actually feeling the force. So when I'm doing the Vajrasattva 100-syllable mantra, which we're going to do tonight, when I'm doing it and you learn it very quickly, you'll see you'll do it 10 times and you already know how to do it. It goes, I feel it going through my being. I'm focused and concentrating on the power of the remedy. And beneath me, I have put about 20 people that are going through terrible times, illnesses and everything. And they are getting it from Vajrasattva above my head, through me, and into them and through them. and into the earth. That's the power of the remedy. And lastly, this Lama Yeshe in his book, not our Lama Yeshe, Becoming Vajrasattva, describes all of them. And he says the last power is very difficult to translate into English. It's called the power of indestructible determination. Okay? It's not so much a vow or a promise or a resolution or a decision. Simultaneous to the power of the remedy, you have this great determination never to create any negative actions again. Complete, firm, and strong, and comes from wisdom because you understand what you're setting into motion. A subtle energy that protects you from moral falls, not intellectual. It's a motivation, it's a force of indestructible determination that counteracts old habits. And when developed, it offers perfect protection. So those are the 4 powers. And when you understand them, I am telling you that you can use this with great success. And if you have a particular difficult person in your life, difficult boss, difficult situation, difficult financial, difficult whatever, use the Vajrasattva to go right through you and counteract that old habit. You know, when you understand that true nature, you don't want to go against it. And I know exactly when this tongue slips and I shouldn't have said what I said. And you can take it back very quickly. I often give people rubbers for presents. I say, rub it out. Sometimes when I've got a couple, I say to them, I'm giving you each a gift. I don't give a real one. And I give them each a rubber. And I say, when she says something that hurts you, ask her to rub it out, and vice versa. So the power of indestructible determination is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's come back for a minute. Those 4 powers, and you really should do it. I want to just say 1 or 2 things, and then let's do the practice, and then let's ask questions. Okay. Vajrasattva, for many centuries of Buddhism, has been the go-to practice for Buddhists for purification. Okay. It's a tantric practice, but we can use it in different situations. Actually, many practice purify, but Vajrasattva is of extreme importance because it's the strongest purification practice for body, speech, and mind. It might seem difficult to memorize 100 syllables, but trust me, it comes very quickly because we use it at the end of practices, so we just know it. So when I had done it about 10 times, 20 times, I already knew the mantra. So you just say it wherever you are, even when there's an accident, even when there's anything, you just recite the 100-syllable mantra, and the 100 syllables are each of the qualities of the 100 qualities of your true nature. Remember that. It's very important, okay? We can rely on it because of the lineage of masters who've used it. We visualize purifying light from Vajrasattva, entering the crown of our heads with the deity above us, filling our body and speech and mind with pure nectar. The body is straight but relaxed. The speech is focused on the mantra, and the mind is free, no concepts, and open. Now, Lama Lena on Vajrasattva says that even though it's part of Nondra, we can use it anytime on its own, and after a stressful day, or when someone has upset you, or something has upset you, or you know you haven't behaved, or for post-traumatic stress disorder, or for anything, without doing a whole visualization and practice, you could even use it in the shower, she says. You could use it in the shower or anywhere where we feel the need because it goes right down to the lower levels of consciousness. And she says, if you do it in the shower, she said, you must always remember that if you look at the highest teaching, Dzogchen, it was Samantabhadra who was the Dharmakaya. It was Vajrasattva, who's the Sambhogakaya, and it was Garabdorje, who was the human Nirmanakaya. So he's also in that. If you look at all of Buddhist history, you'll find Vajrasattva everywhere, because think of the term. Vajra is the thunderbolt. It can get through anything. But she says, even if you're going to do it in the shower, if you've had a stressful day, still do a little bit of taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. And always remember, bodhicitta is, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, like Ron was saying, for the sake of all sentient beings. That's all. And I'm doing it, all sentient beings, my mothers, and I'm doing it for all sentient beings. Oh, and we need Fiona, and she went. Okay, so what I just want to say is, there are many Vajrasattva practices. Please find one that suits you, okay? And visualize all your channels. Remember, we did the energy winds through which the energy winds flow, the 1,000 lotus above your head. And remember that this is a proper tantric practice. Even if you do a shortened version, still do it with respect. Sophie, do I need to make you co-host again? To
Yes,
get it?
yes, you probably
Okay.
will now.
Thank you there. And then can we start doing it? And can we start with the taking refuge, the inner taking refuge, and the inner bodhicitta, because that's very important, and you can do it in your own words. Okay, it's really important, this. Okay, so if you can, that's great. So we're going to start with an inner refuge. Those of you that want to just do a little prostration, that's good. It just humbles. There we go. Okay, just can you go before that, if you can, Fee, to the inner refuge? That's the one that I sent you in the Empty Essence Dharmakaya, just before. Yeah, moment, just before.
It's taking a bit of time to. I have actually got it on that.
There
page,
we are.
but,
There we are. There we are. You're on.
The signal's very bad, so that's why it's doing funny things.
Sorry, but that's perfect. Okay, everybody, let's start with the inner refuge. So I want you all to say it. Okay. Namo. In the empty essence Dharmakaya, that's your Dharmakaya. In the luminous nature, Sambhogakaya. In the manifold capacity, Nirmanakaya, I take refuge until enlightenment. You could do that, or you could do any of your own. You can even go, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. That's even fine. But this is a very beautiful refuge, because it makes you realize how much more you are than the little self that you are. So we go from that to inner bodhicitta. So we can all say this together. Ho, in order to establish all beings equal to the sky. We just had the story of the sky, limitless, in the state of Buddhahood, so we can get their suffering gone. I will realize the Dharmakaya of self-existing awareness through the teachings of the great perfection. That's a real inner bodhicitta. But for those of you who don't want to say that, just say, I promise and I vow to try and help sentient beings to the best of my ability to free them all from suffering. Doesn't really matter what you do. I'm just giving you an inner refuge. Okay, so let's go feed to the Vajrasattva practice. Hang on, a little higher if you can. Yeah, okay, here we go, everybody. So I want you to say this aloud in your room. Ah's your creative mantra. Above my head, on a lotus and moon, is the wisdom of all Buddhas, Vajrasattva of great bliss, stainless as the glow of the autumn moon. His two hands, holding a Vajra and bell, joyfully embrace Atopa, his own light. That's the feminine side of Vajrasattva. If you don't want to imagine, Atopa, just imagine him by himself. You can Google a beautiful picture of him, adorned with silks and jewel ornaments, and with his two legs in the Vajra posture. He sits in a sphere of bindus and rainbow light. Now, here's the instruction. While visualizing in this way, and with the power of remorse, you're feeling that remorse, the intense feeling of regret and sorrow, that's your power for all evil deeds and failings. Practice the antidote, which is the power of application, the visualization for reciting the mantra. So for a moment, you could do this all in 10 minutes. For the moment, I want you to just feel that remorse that we just felt for many things that you've done in your life. Just feel it in your heart. I really want to cleanse this. I really wanted to go in. I really want to serve in a better way. Okay, here goes the practice. In the center of the moon disk in his heart is Hum, the heart life of all the Sugatas, that's all the Buddhas, encircled by the 100-syllable mantra. By chanting, light shines forth, fulfilling the two goals, that's you and others. Upon its return, a stream of nectar flows down, entering through the crown of my head. It purifies evil deeds, obscurations, damaged and broken vows, making me pure and immaculate. This is Dilgo Khyentse's beautiful purification practice. Okay, just go on, Fee, if you can. Sweetie, I know it's hard. Now we start doing the mantra. Those of you that don't want to do the 100-syllable mantra, you can go Om Benza Sato A or Om Benza Sato Hum. Doesn't really matter. That's a shortened version. But otherwise, it's really beautiful when you get into this mantra to do it. I don't care if you do it 3 times, 12 times, 9 times, doesn't matter. Just the power of it will really cleanse everything right into your subconscious. So I'm going to say it. You could say it with me if you want. And I like to use Om Benza, not Om Vajra. They're the same. One's Tibetan and one's Sanskrit. So I'm going to start reciting it. And then you can start reciting it quickly afterwards. We'll do a few. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Te no Patito Chito Trido Me Bawa Suto Bewa Me Bava Supo Sheo Me Bava Anurakta Me Bawa Sawa Siddhi Me Paryaka Sawa Kama Satsu Me Chitam Shiriyam Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Benza Mama Muncha Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Ah. I'm going to do it quickly. It comes so easily after a while. Om Benza Sato Samaya Manu Palaya Benza Sato Te no Padritu Dritu Me Bawa Suduka Me Bawa Sugoka Me Bawa Anurata Me Sawa Siddhi Mintrayata Sawa Sawa Zatu Me Teaching Guru ha 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 ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Benza Mamuta Benza Satwa Guru Hong Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawadada Gada Benzama Muda Binwa Sadawa Binza Rosa Maya Manu Bala Benza no De Nabandino Me Bawazudagan Me Bawazugan Hanurata Me Bawazawazini Mendranza Zawazaman Me Sidin Jira Guru Hong Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawadada Gada Benzama Muda Binwa Sadawa Benza Sato A Benza Sato A Benza Sato A Benza Sato A Benza Sato A. You feel it flowing through you and through anybody else out into the bottom. And then you say, protected due to my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against and broken the Samayas. Guru protector, please grant refuge. Supreme Vajra holder, with a nature of great compassion, to you, leader of beings, I go for refuge. And then you say, I openly admit all damaged and broken samayas, those are your vows, both the root and branch samayas of body, speech, and mind. Please cleanse and purify all the negative actions, obscurations, failings, and stains I have gathered. Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with this prayer, and with a smiling face, he says, son or daughter of noble family, all your actions, obscurations, and failings are purified, thus absolving me. And now Vajrasattva dissolves completely into light and melts into me and blesses my nature. Now just sit for a moment, feeling the pure light through you, the benefit of the practice, even if you use Benza Sato A or Benza Sato Hum. But I'm telling you that you can get the mantra, you can get it on YouTube, you can get people who sing it and you can sing it with them, and eventually you just learn it off by heart, and wherever you are, you just cleanse everything with it. So just sit in that beautiful, dissolved state, pure, clean, peaceful. Thanks, B. So that practice could take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, and it's a beautiful practice. It comes from Dilgo Kiensi, that particular one. You can Google one with pleasure. You can look up one with pleasure. It comes from the Dzogchen deity practice. I do it every day. When I did my 100,000, I did it via the Kaju lineage, but it really doesn't matter. Basically, it's just visualizing Vajrasattva, allowing the nectar, doing the mantra a couple of times, feeling the cleansing, feeling the remorse, and dedicating it in the end for all sentient beings. Now, you could do it in 10 minutes every day. And if you find it hard, but all you need to do, everybody, is to go onto the mantras, go onto Google, and Google the 100-syllable mantra. You'll find somebody who sings it in a beautiful way. And even if you don't do it, you can let them sing it right in your practice. And eventually, from listening to it, you get to know it very well. I say it all the time, all the time. It's actually very easy to memorize. And that ha, 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 ho is the 4 wisdoms, and then the final 5th wisdom. So it's got everything. It's got all the qualities. It's got all the 100 deities. It's got everything that you need. And your life will start to change, truly, if you do it with sincerity. Fee, I don't know if you've got that little prayer that I also got on the essence of Vajrasattva. Do you have that little prayer? if you do, that will be lovely to show them that you could just do a 4-line prayer if you wanted, if you really are in a bit of a hurry. Do you have that, Fee? I know you're having a struggle with your things today. If you don't,
Yes,
we'll
I
do
do have it now. It's just, yeah, just be aware I might drop off because this thing is doing weird things. Is it this, Mel?
Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so just let's say this little one together. It's beautiful. This primary body of momentary delusion, that's your body, is a primordially pure body of light. In a state of brightness, I visualize distinct and perfect the naturally present Vajrasattva inside you. Om Vajrasattva Ah. That is even a practice on its own. Now let's do that once more. This primary body of momentary delusion is a primordially pure body of light. In a state of brightness, I visualize distinct and perfect the naturally present Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva Ah. And you could do that syllable a few times. That's a practice in itself if you want, if you don't want to do the other one. And the mandala offering, Fee, you know what, we'll do the mandala offering, that short one, when we do the thing on merit. Let's not confuse everybody. Let's just leave Vajrasattva. But that's also a short mandala offering. Okay, we might as well say it. Within the space of emptiness, place as heaps, awareness resting freely. This mandala of undivided space and awareness I offer to the Sugatas, that's the Buddhas, of primordial purity. Guru Mandala Puja Ho. That's a beautiful mandala practice. So nobody can say to me, I don't have time, because you could do it in 3 seconds. Thank you, Fee, you've done beautifully, despite all your problems. But you know, it's not the length of the practice, it's your sincerity. If you were offering a mandala of space and awareness, that's all. Space is the essence, awareness is the nature. That's what you're made of. And you're saying, I'm offering it. And you're saying with Vajrasattva, I am a primordially a body of light. So are you. It's amazing when you use these. I say that little prayer every day of I'm primordial. And every time I do, I go, I'm a primordially body of light, you know, and then I can clear it. And you say that, and that's who you are. Any questions, any comments? I'm not doing another piece of teaching. Anyone, please ask or say, put on your cameras if you're still alive and you're still there. And just please, I'm so happy with your questions. Please, Tati, go on.
My question is regarding the tankas, the visualization. You have the yab yam, but you also have just Vajrasattva. In terms of more inner level, secret level, what does that actually mean? And there's the Aruka as well that you said. What's the difference in the practice itself?
Yeah, you see, the simpler you want to be, the simpler the practice, okay? Because if you just want to see single Vajrasattva, actually single Vajrasattva and consort are the same thing. It's just visually seeing the feminine side, but everything is essence and nature, emptiness and bliss, emptiness and awareness, emptiness and whatever. It's all the same, okay? But when you do a simple Vajrasattva practice, when you just do a very simple one, for me, it's easier without doing the yab yung, the feminine and masculine. But actually, The feminine always goes with the masculine anyway. Even if you're doing a single one, even you yourself are the masculine and the feminine. Because the masculine, you know, the one is the essence and the one is the nature. And they always go together. So I think when you're doing a really like advanced inner tantric practice, you'll usually have the yab and you'll usually have them above you. But for purposes of what we're talking, I don't care how simply you do the practice. I mean, those of you that are doing non, like Eugene and everything, you can do your usual Vajrasattva practice. It's a beautiful practice as well. But what I was trying to do tonight is show all of you that you can do the simplest Vajrasattva practice and it still has the full benefit. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do a full-on inner tantric practice given to you maybe by Lama Lena or maybe by one of your lamas, by all means, visualize the Yab and Yum. But for purpose of tonight, I'm very happy if you visualize Vajrasattva above you, from the Hung out into Vajrasattva, representing all the qualities of your innate nature. And then you do the simple practice and you let the mantra go through you and you help as many people as you can. You give it cleanses right into the psyche, into everything. It's a special practice. Why? Because it's got 100 syllables. And 100 syllables represent the 100 qualities. So I'm just showing you that you can do quite a complex practice. And you can do such a simple one. Now, the one that Dilgo Kienzi does, which I've given you tonight, you can get that from Fiona. It's very, very simple. It will not take you more than 7 minutes. Okay? And I don't mind if you do the mantra, if you're doing the long mantra, if you even do it 9 times, it's fine. It'll take you a second to do it very, very quickly. You do it 9 times, and then it's really through you, and it's absolutely there. But listen, guys, this is an amazing opportunity that we've got in this day and age. Okay? And before the deterioration, before these things are not that available, we need to do strong purification. And if you go back in the holidays and you look at the description of our obscurations and you look at what I've given you tonight to try and see it in the overall expression, moving through the nondra of all the things we need. I don't even mind if you do it in your own language. Doesn't even matter. Because it's the sincerity of the heart that is so pure and beautiful. And it will really help all your suffering, all of you, truly, truly. And then what we'll do when we come back, do the merit lecture, and then we'll do the discussion group and another one and another one. And I'm really happy in the discussion group, if you want to say to me, please, what would be a short this? What would be a short that? I'll keep all my books next to me. You can ask them. But remember, if you understand the 3 marks of conditioned existence, impermanence, lack of a self, inherent nature, and suffering, if you understand that, that's what our lives are made of, then you can move through things without getting bogged down. Please. Whatever you're going through, truly, any other things you want to say, then we'll dedicate, and then I won't see you for
I have
another.
one more question.
Please, go
It's
on.
about the absence of inherited self existence or nature. How does that affect how you see things, how you behave? The suffering and impermanence is very easy to actually translate into practice, but I find this one a
The
bit too
inherent.
a theory of something, but not.
You see, for me, that is what makes it really, that one of a lack of inherent self-nature makes it so important in the conditioned marks of existence, because when you look at a lack of not a not an inherent self nature, then you say to yourself, I am here and I am composed. I came from my parents came from their parents, I came down this particular way, I'm made of some of the blood of my parents. Everything is interdependent causes, okay? Many interdependent causes. That is what the meaning of a lack of inherent self-nature is. But your true nature does not have interdependent causes. It's not made up of it doesn't change because of this and go further because of that. It always is, it always was, it always will be. But we aren't. Soon you won't see me in this form anymore because I don't have an inherent self-nature. Now, when we understand that, what it makes us realize is to stop attaching to things. Because when you look at people, Lamalena, I was telling him yesterday, Lamalena says, the worst thing Westerners can do is not tell a person they're dying when they're dying. Okay, she says, that's the worst thing you can do. You say to the person, come on, fight. You could still go on when the person's clearly dying, okay? When we're dying, all of this lack of inherent self-nature, cheers. All you're left with is your awakened nature. And the Alaya consciousness goes with you as part of that to remember what record you had. But when you understand that, you stop attaching, grasping. You love people, you want them around, but you don't grasp them like that because you know there's no inherent self-nature. Makes such a difference, Tati, such a difference, truly. And then you understand it. So let's dedicate, and then if anybody's got anything they want to ask, I'm happy to really say. But I want to dedicate tonight. I won't see you for another couple of weeks, but I want to dedicate tonight to all the suffering people right through this planet and in all the universes, and the insects struggling, and the animals struggling, and the hungry ghosts struggling, and the angry people struggling. Let's really devote. Oh, she isn't here. I think she's gotten bumped off, poor Fiona. But let's just dedicate for all suffering beings. Sonam die tamche zipane topne nepe dranam pamshene jegana chibala dropaye sipe sole doa dro warsho. So we really dedicate, and to